All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. We'll take a look at the weed sector and almost an inverse of the video I made just a couple days ago. I was loving MSOS on the last one. I'm a little worried about MSOS on this one. I was not liking TLRY and CGC, and by no means am I liking them more today. I'm still a little bit on that neutral side on TLRY, which I'll get to momentarily. CGC, I'm not liking it. I'm still not liking it. But look, there are times when a bad downtrend has some moments of up. And I think once again, we're going to look for it on CGC, but just need to prove more. And then high tide. I think high tide is still just at the mercy of the moving averages. All right. But before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I am so grateful for it all right? So TLRY, all right, last time I talked about TLRY, it was the same thing I'm basically going to talk about now, all right? The stock continues to have an inability to get over the 8 and the 20. All right, what was a stock that was climbing these lines not that long ago is once again a stock living under them, right? And I mean, look, what was a big up and a big down is a smaller up, and hey, maybe a smaller down, we'll hope, right? But this is a stock that goes up on these 2 lines and then quickly down, and I mean that's the good and bad in these parabolic stocks that I love so much. You know what I mean? But again, for now, all I can do is I think let me rephrase it. The best thing I can do is not make assumptions. All right. As much as I would love for this thing to get over the 8 and the 20, I'm still seeing this constant inability. All right. Today did look a little better at some point during the day, obviously shown by the wick, right? Like I actually thought that we were once again going to close near the 20, once again, give me reason to believe, right? Because we've seen it. We've gotten over both, but couldn't do it. Got over both, but couldn't do it. I was obviously hoping for something similar. All right. I am glad we're still over this 172. All right, that's I think the biggest thing that I've continually said for what's now like 3 weeks. I mean, maybe even 4 weeks for all I know. As long as we're over 172, I wouldn't call myself bearish. All right, I think I'm living in this neutral world, and hey, I mean, we're basically in the middle, right? But I think as we get closer to 172, I get more worried, right? I'm not waving the bearish flag, but it worries me to say the least, all right? Because again, I drew it only what feels like a couple weeks ago, but if we lose that, we might be having a quick fall down there, and we do not want to talk about what happens at 151, right? Now, with this 190 line, we're starting to get to a place where all of a sudden the 100 moving average is getting really close to that line. All right, the 50, I imagine, is going to start making its way down because the 8 and the 20 have been going down for a while, right? I mean, the 50 is obviously 2x slower than this one, and I think we said 7 or 8x. I think 7x is the bad math, embarrassing math, but whatever, right? So I'm imagining this is going to start heading down soon. And at some point, though we know that this is an important line and I don't necessarily want to delete it, the moving averages are going to become way more important than this 190. You know what I mean? But I'm still watching this in terms of my I like it, don't like it line. I'm very much neutral because, look, the baseline thing I say in my videos is bad things happen under these 2 lines. And we have basically been under both of them since the earnings in January, right? So bad earnings reaction, never, ever over the 2 lines enough for me to believe, right? And again, starting to go back with going back to what I started with, excuse me, the last thing I want to do is make an assumption. I cannot assume we're going to get over these lines until I get enough proof, until I see enough to believe, right? You want to set your criteria high. It's something I always say, okay? Today was definitely a decent day. It was obviously a green day, not a red day, and it was close to 5%, right? But not liking the volume, all right? Again, we just have this inability to even touch. I'm going to just zoom in, get rid of those outliers. We're not touching the 50-day average. We are below average on all of these, and you don't want to be below average. That does not give your parents a bumper sticker that they put on their car, right? Like, you want to be above average, if not at least average, so you don't seem like one of the low ones in the class, right? So volume's not looking good. I'm seeing an RSI with red over green. I'm seeing a MACD with red over green. You know I don't like that. Green should always be over. I see a negative MACD. I see an RSI that looks like it wants to head down. Listen, I mean, I'm here seeing way more bad than good, all right? I do still believe that 2024 is going to be a good year for weed, okay? I think it started off it started off decent. Obviously, we were on a good uptrend, and I mean, until February came and kind of riled the cages, right? I'm still holding my belief, all right? I've been hoping that during these, political primaries, during these political caucuses, some candidate would say something a little more positive and reassuring about weed. That was one of my assumptions. That hasn't really quite happened. I haven't seen too many political headlines connected to weed, and obviously that's something we need in this sector, right? Like, even though this is a Canadian stock, right? Like, you want to believe that the rules are going to get better for the weed companies to win, right? Once that underlying belief is there in this sector, it's going to be hard to hold these back, right? But yeah, I was hoping for more during the election. I think it's very much fair to say it's still really, really early, all right? I am hoping a couple more, like, on the verge of losing people make some crazy Hail Mary statements. Oh man, I would love it if Trump said something positive about weed. Again, doesn't matter if you like the guy or hate the guy. He brings headlines, and it would be amazing if he said something, right? So, still missing a little bit of that political gas. That was very, very much one of the reasons why I was bullish on the year as a whole. But I'm not giving up on that, all right? I'm still hoping, give it a couple more months, and we'll get that. So that's kind of where I wanted to end it. German legalization, I'm going to be honest, I think it's starting to become this distant past thing. Now, maybe as we get closer to April, and maybe as there is a little more of a hype to the actual legalization, maybe that'll do something. But I believe the vote has come and gone and didn't do enough. All right. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. As always, I'm telling you, nothing is better than disagreement. Both sides get better regardless of who's right. All right. Let's take a look at CGC really quickly. If you can please subscribe, please share. It does wonders for these algorithms. All right. So look, I continue to say I do not like any stock that has a reverse split. All right. Reverse splits are bad for stocks. Doesn't matter if you're a 3-letter, 4-letter, or 5-letter company, all right? There are moments in a bad downtrend where you will see some good uptrend moments, all right? I was actually looking for one right here, a little bit, what was that, the 18th, the 16th of February. I gotta say, I think I'm looking for another one again right here, all right? So what am I looking for? If we're able to break the 8 moving average, there's always a reason to believe we're going to come up to the 20, all right? And to go from down here around 350-ish all the way up to almost 4, that's actually not a bad move. That's about a 20% profit that you can make right there, right? Rough numbers, right? That's not too shabby. It's not too shabby, right? So if that happens, hey, I would never say don't consider it, right? I think, I mean, there's let me see how, like, I think the safer number, and again, nothing's safe and nothing's guaranteed in the stock market, right? This also could be a place of like a fake wick, like that's kind of why I'm a little hesitant here, all right? But if we can get into this candle, the only green in this sea of red right here, right? What day was this? That's 16th. That's right. I talked about it. Maybe it would be worth the consideration. And I don't know if it's, again, this could be a place where it wicks and fails, right? But 360-ish, 365-ish could be an interesting signal to maybe say, hey, I think we've broken the 8 and we want to come up to the 20. All right. Now, do I believe we're going to break the 20 and go on up more? I do not. Because we have tried, 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 and then that's it. I am not here believing anything else except for the realities of what I see until CGC proves a little bit more. I say the exact same thing for any stock, right? So it's one of those things. Look, I work hard for my money. I'm sure you work hard for it too, right? If you got to make a stock work hard for your money, right? And to me, breaking those lines and making me believe it's broken those lines is almost step one, right? So again, I am not liking the stock. I never like a stock that comes out of a reverse split. I always feel like it needs like months on months on months, and we're coming up on 3, so maybe a quarter past this, right? Again, a fiscal quarter is 3 months. Maybe a quarter after the split might be some sort of consideration, but we're still about a month away from that even happening, right? So again, it's not that long ago that happened, and I feel like it just lingers, right? So that's kind of all I got here. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. I don't need to look at the weekly because, again, for now, I'm just seeing a stock going down and down on the daily, all right? But I'm never here saying that I'm right, right? Like, if you believe you got better opinions, I would love to hear them, all right? MSOS, okay, this one was definitely the outlier from my last video, okay? So I am much louder about my mistakes than my correct calls, and yeah, I definitely have to call out, I was wrong here. I was hopeful and excited, clearly saw otherwise, right? So I will go over what I messed up on, but very quickly, hey, if you can please subscribe and share, oh my gosh, it does wonders for the video algorithms, all right? So one thing I always say, and look, I am not perfect, I am a human myself, I'm a little greedy guy as well, right? You can't get too excited on a single candle. And I found myself getting a little too excited on a single candle because I believed that we had broken the 20 moving average and we're about to go back up. I saw the green, red, and I saw the green, right? So I did not wait for confirmation. And this is why I always stress it, right? Like this is the aftermath of getting a little too excited, going in too early and not waiting, all right? So disappointed in myself, can't say I'm not, right? It happens, and this is why I always stress, look, just because you hear that I have my money in something, that does not mean you should, because like you see right here, I get stuff wrong, all right? I was also liking the fact that it seemed like, and again, you can see it even in this day, the red was over the green on pretty much both the MACD and the RSI. As I'm looking in the box to the left, I guess the green RSI was a little bit higher. It was at 0.5 instead of the 0.3. Nonetheless, all right, I made some assumptions from good volume. I made some assumptions from a single candle. I needed to confirm. And is what it is, all right? So where do we find ourselves right now? We're actually under the 2 lines that I was just getting excited about, right? So in a lot of ways, the last thing I want to do is make the exact same mistake twice, okay? As scary as this looks, as exciting as this looked, you can't get overly emotional on a single candle, all right? We need confirmation down. I think that'll basically be this. No, I liked where I clicked. I think it'll basically be 855, or we come back up and we hopefully come back into this like 923 range, 920-ish range, right? But we either confirm the loss or hopefully come back up. Can't let a single candle do it. Obviously, not liking the MACD, not liking the RSI, bad divergence on both, not liking the volume. But one more time, I think it's all about the candles, all about confirmation up here, okay? Again, I got this one wrong. It happens a bunch of times. The good thing is you learn from this and hopefully, you know, not do it again. That's inclusive of myself, right? I'm looking at my own face at the screen right now, and yeah, learning from this one. Gotta wait for confirmation, even when you have lovely green, red, beautiful fast channels. You know what I mean? So I'll take a look at the weekly. Let's take a look at the weekly. Interesting, all right? I also remember getting really excited about the 100 moving average break on the weekly. I do remember that because there is no 200. Yeah, I mean, I saw greedy. I got greedy. I got a little too excited. It's common mistakes that again gotta tighten up, myself included. All right. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Otherwise, let's come into high tide. And yeah, I know I talked about the multiple moving averages. All right. You find yourself when there's three lines. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but three moving averages is more than half of the five I cover. Right. So three is a lot. And when you have three lines really tight, you go from the top to the bottom to the top to the bottom to the top to the bottom, almost seemingly for no reason at all. And I think that's a fair assessment of what's been happening here. All right. It's hard for me to make predictions in this. All right. Because, I mean, it's really one of two things. Either we lose the 50, either we lose the red line and head on down towards the next one, or we escape the lines and head on up, right? Sorry, I'm taking a second to look. That's our line. All right, I'm raising this line. That's where we need to be. That's where we need to be. I think if we can get over 193, that's where I'll like high tide. Otherwise, I think it's just going to be at the mercy of the moving averages, all right? And it's even weird to kind of say what I would call my like eject line. I guess it would be that, but you can see we even wicked it today, right? Made the it's hard when there's multiple moving averages this close. I can't stress it enough, right? Like I don't got a crystal ball, and I always say like I use other indicators to make better assessments, right? More information sometimes good, sometimes is bad. It's hard for me to look at this and make an educated guess, all right? The easiest thing for me to say is we need to get over 193 for me to feel as confident as I did in high tide, all right? Again, I don't think I've seen any news. I don't think I've seen any comments that really like would justify it. I think it is the moving averages on this daily. Where are we on the weekly? Almost the same view as MSOS. Trying to get over the 100 moving average, can't really do it. Still over it, so we'll take it, obviously. But yeah, this is one of those where I wish I had more indicators. Volume's definitely kind of slowing down, and that's never a good thing, actually. Yeah. It doesn't really seem like it that much on the daily. I'm looking at the volume, but yeah, I think the weekly does. Obviously, it's still a little early in the week, right? So I'm not trying to make any assumptions about this week just yet. But yeah, easily you can see that downtrend over the last 3 weeks, right? So little concerning, but again, this can easily make a silly recovery up because this I'm telling you, it just it does crazy things. So we need a little bit more definitive an answer. Otherwise, we're just going to move horizontally with these moving averages until we see the answer. All right. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Even if you disagree, hey, I appreciate you so much.